What's up guys, today I'm going to be going over the best hunter build this season, and there's going to be two builds in this video. The first being a void one that's going to be very similar to my warlock build, just applied to hunter with some tips and tricks. And the second build will be one of my favorite builds I came up with this season. It's very good, so definitely make sure to stick around and not miss that one. Anyways, let's go and begin. Starting off with our weapons, it's going to be very similar to our warlock build, pretty much the exact same stuff. We have Wither Horde as our kinetic. Then in our energy slot, we're going to have a seraph weapon, either the seraph sidearm if you have one. If not, you can use the SMG, which you can still farm this season with umbrals. Then in our heavy slot, we're gonna have falling guillotine, once again with a god roll of whirlwind blade and relentless strikes. So pretty much starting off with the same three weapons as our warlock build, but now this time we're gonna use bottom tree NIGHTSTALKER. There's gonna be a lot of really good perks on this tree. First being lockdown, grenade effects last twice as long, which means our oppressive darkness will have enemies debuff for twice as long as every other grenade in the game. Then we have vanish and smoke, which is where you throw a smoke bomb from a distance, making you and your nearby allies invisible. Then this also provides the heart of the pack buff, which will give you increased weapon haste, which is things like swap speed and reload. Then on top of that, increased mobility, recovery, and resilience. Then we also have combat provision, damaging enemies with grenades grant melee ability energy, making allies invisible grants grenade energy. Then finally, we're going to have Mobius Quiver on top of this as our tether option, which is pretty good for single target damage. Then our exotic of choice will be Graviton Forfeit, which will increase the duration of any invisibility effects, and your melee recharges faster while you're invisible. And the final thing we're going to be using is Gambler's Dodge. That way, whenever we dodge, we get our full melee charge back. And pretty much how this whole build works is you use your smoke bomb to make yourself invisible and nearby allies. Then you can use your dodge to get your melee back. And every single time you do this, you will be getting grenade energy, then also be getting a higher stack of heart of pack, or keeping times 3 procced, which means you're going to be getting your dodge back quicker, your melee back quicker, and a portion of your grenade back every single time you invis yourself or allies. So this is pretty easy to have an infinite chain going just by yourself. If you add in a teammate and invis a teammate at the same time, it's very easy to have all of your abilities up at all times. You have to invis 4 people to get your grenade fully back. So if you have an ally near you, then 2 smoke bombs will get your full grenade energy back. So with this combo, not only do you have infinite invisibility, you also have infinite grenades and pretty much everything you would ever want. So this build's gonna work really well with Oppressive Darkness. Then Lockdown is also on this path, which means your grenades last twice as long. Our first mod we're going to be using will be Global Reach, which will allow us to spawn in Warmind cells with our Seraph weapon and also increase the blast radius of the actual explosions. And one major tip of this is use your Wither Horde and swap to your Seraph weapon, and all your Wither Horde kills will count as Seraph weapon kills, which means you can also spawn in Warmind cells with your Wither Horde. And since we're going to be using Wither Horde a lot in this build, we're going to use Blast Radius, which means double kills with Wither Horde will give us a stack of Chargeable Light. You can also use things like Taking Charge, but I think Blast Radius is the best for this build. Then with those stacks of Chargeable Light, we're going to be doing 2 things. The first being Lucent Blade, which will be that 35% increase of sword damage and also that quicker recharge of your heavy attack. Then on our bond, we're going to be using Oppressive Darkness along with Font of Light, and there's going to be 2 other mods you can do in this slot, but my favorite is probably Font of Light, because of the fact that once you're charged with light, when you're surrounded by 3 or more enemies and take damage, it'll pretty much do this lightning attack around you and kill everything for you. So it's going to help out greatly, keeping you alive when things get close, and also just killing everything in the room. So pretty much the entire idea of this build is between your subclass and your Graviton Forfeit, you have infinite invisibility and also infinite abilities. Then you have Wither Horde and your Seraph weapon for ad clear and also creating Warmind cells. You have your sword for really good single target damage with Oppressive Darkness and also Lucent Blade. And you have Font of Light for really good ad clear when everything's get close to you. So yeah, it's pretty much the Warlock build, but just made to work on the Hunter subclass. And instead of Devour giving you health back, you have invisibility. That's pretty much the only change. Moving on to the second build, which is one of my favorite builds I've made this season, is let's start with Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves. And once again, we're going to be using bottom tree NIGHTSTALKER. You can really use any subclass you want, but we're going to be using that for Oppressive Darkness. And the weapons of choice this time are going to be Breach Light. Mine has Demo Rampage, which is pretty much what I would consider the best role possible. Then I have a Martyr's Retribution, Auto Loading Holster, and Demo once again, which is once again my favorite role on that too. And the good thing about this build is that both of these weapons are very easy to farm for this season. In this Dawn focused UMBRAL engram, it only comes with the Martyrs and Breach Light, which means you can farm for both of these weapons in this build very easily. And I recommend this just doing it in general because these are 2 of my favorite guns in the entire game. So the first thing we're going to do in this build is make our Martyr's Retribution a Seraph weapon, and we're going to do that by using Wrath of Rasputin, where Solar Splash damage final blows have a chance to create Warmind cells. Then on top of that, we're going to use Global Reach to increase the blast radius of those cell explosions. And with this combo, Martyr's Retribution works exactly like any of the Seraph weapons. Every 5 to 7 red bars will create a Warmind cell, every 4 majors, and every single ultra, or, you know, my favorite, the V-Cool Acolyte Eye. And once again, since we're going to be using Martyr's Retribution a lot in this build, we're going to use Blast Radius to become charged with light. So every single time we get a double kill, we'll get 1 stack of charged with light. Once again, you can use something like Taking Charge if you want, but I definitely think Blast Radius works the best with this build by far. Then with those stacks of charged with light, we're going to be using Surprise Attack, which will be that 2x damage for our sidearm whenever we ready or reload it. So pretty much how this build works is you become charged with light times 2, then swap over to sidearm, get a charge magazine times 10, which means your first 10 bullets that hit will have double damage. Then we pair that with Mechanier's Trick Sleeves on top of that, which will give us 2x more damage on our sidearm if we're red bar when we swap. Then on top of that, it will increase the ready time of sidearms and also the reload speed. What you can do is become charged with light times 2, then become red bar, then swap and proc the Trick Sleeve and the charge magazine times 10, and have 4x damage on your sidearm for pretty much the first half of your magazine. You can also throw Oppressive Darkness on top of this for 30% more damage on top of everything else already going on. And one final tip and trick for this build is that if you're close to becoming red bar, you can actually shoot Martyr's Retribution at your feet, and it doesn't do that much damage, but should be enough to make you red bar, so you can kind of control when this combo actually works. So overall, the entire idea behind this build is use Martyr's Retribution for ad clear and become charged with light times 2 and create more mind cells along the way. And whenever you're charged with light times 2, swap to your breach light and proc both the charge magazine, then also the Mechanier's Trick Sleeves of your red bar. Shoot the entire magazine of 4x damage, then swap back to your Martyr's Retribution. And if you have auto loading holster, it'll be reloaded for you, and you just go back and forth over and over again. So yeah, that build is actually cracked. It's one of my favorite builds I've ever made. I love Martyr's Retribution and Breach Light, and this build enhances both of them by making Martyr's Retribution a Seraph weapon. Then when you get double kills with Martyr's Retribution, which is very easy, you become charged with light, swap over to your Breach Light and have 2x damage, or 4x if you're red bar, which pretty much means your Breach Light is a special weapon also, if not a heavy weapon, if you have everything stacked on top of each other. So yeah, this build is extremely strong. I love it. It's very good for solo play and just messing around. But on the other hand, the first build in this video is going to be a lot better for serious gameplay. You're going to be able to invis your entire teammates pretty much forever. You're going to have infinite Oppressive Darkness grenades for debuffs. Then you're also going to have Wither Horde plus your Seraph weapon for Warmind cells. And then also Loosened Blade for that 35% increase to your sword damage for single targets and boss fights. So the first build is definitely more of a serious build that you'll be using in things like the dungeon and raids, while the second build is going to be very good for pretty much everything outside of that, where you can just kind of mess around and make yourself red bar whenever you want and not really be worrying about dying and like wiping your entire team. Anyways, don't be surprised if I make a warlock version of the second build in this video. I think I have a few tricks up my sleeve that I could do on warlock to make that build really cool too. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about these two builds. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.